Hey guys, today we're going to take a look at the updated Supercourt paddles from Chorus. These are now going to come in their three new shapes. So they have the elongated EX, which has a swing weight of 116 and a twist weight of 6.45. The hybrid HX, which has a swing weight of 114 and a twist weight of 6.82. And finally, the wide body SX, which has a swing weight of 106 and a twist weight of 7.16. All three of these are going to have a flat top shape with the top two corners flaring out slightly and then tapering down. As of now, they all only come in the 16mm core thickness option.
Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to hit the original Supercourt, so I can't speak much to how it plays. But from what I've heard from others, it's a fun Gen 1 cold press paddle that was unique with its longer 6.25-inch handle and smaller paddle face. Now the updated series no longer has the shape of the original, but it comes in the three shapes we mentioned above that have the flat top and taper at the top two corners, the same ones as the new Shapeshifter and Fire series. The new Supercourts are also now a Gen 2 thermoform paddle, so it does have foam around the edges and it's heated in a hot mold for several hours. What separates it from the other Chorus paddles is its surface layup, as it opts to use three layers, one layer of carbon fiber, followed by fiberglass in the middle, and then a layer of carbon fiber at the bottom. In terms of how this plays, the fiberglass in the surface was very apparent, and it gave the paddle a stiff and poppy feel out of the box that was more than the average Gen 2. I found that over time, the face did soften up where the ball would sink in slightly more into the face before shooting off, very similar to another paddle with the same surface layup, and that's the original 11624 Harachi X Control Plus. While I describe the 11624 paddle as a juiced up double black diamond in terms of having more firepower, the Supercourt series has even more pop and power than the original 11624 all-court line. The EX and SX are more aggressive versions of the original Harachi Control Plus and Monarch all-courts respectively, while the HX shape I found to be similar to a slightly broken in Thrive Azul. Though compared to the original 11624 all-courts, the Supercourts don't have as stiff of a feel on impact. While the fiberglass layer does give them more power than the all-courts, their overall feel is more plush, potentially due to slight changes in the construction, which makes the first carbon fiber layer feel softer. The Supercourt paddles also have a louder sound on impact, and they're overall very aggressive paddles. I would place the SX and HX at the top of the all-court category, and the EX model in the all-court leaning power category. Out of Chorus's existing lineup right now, the Supercourt is the most powerful compared to the Fire and Shapeshifters if we're talking about overall power and drives. But it's not as stiff and poppy as the Fire models, and for that metric, I would place it in the middle between the Fire and Shapeshifters. I do think it is a bit more of an advanced paddle to use, especially compared to the Shapeshifter line, but personally, I enjoy it much more as a power option from Chorus compared to the Fires. The Fires I think are very poppy and stiff, but also unforgiving paddles that I find more for advanced players, while the Supercourts I view as having a better balance of offering good firepower, but also with better forgiveness. Similar with the Shapeshifters, it has a noticeably better sweet spot than the Fire series, and doesn't require as much of a tungsten tape setup for perimeter weighting. Now between the three shapes, I personally recommend the HX option for most people. That one is my favorite one, as it has a good blend of reach, power, speed, and stability. To me, the HX mold is really like a wide body paddle with slightly more reach without losing too much on stability. The EX is a bit more difficult to use since its stiffer and poppier feel makes it more difficult to control, and the shape overall isn't as stable, but it's the most powerful and aggressive. Meanwhile, the SX is the quickest in the hands and the most stable, but I personally didn't like how the reach was shorter on it, and overall preferred the HX over it. I know some people have been saying that shorter wide body paddles tend to have more pop compared to the other two shapes, but between these three, I found the EX to have the most power and pop, the SX to have the lowest power and second highest pop, while the HX had the second most power, but the lowest amount of pop, as it also had the softest feeling face out of the three. Now, technologically, there's nothing really impressive about the Supercourt line. At their core, they're basically just a Gen 2 paddle that's using the new shape molds unique to Chorus, and they are using a CFC surface that seems to be more powerful compared to what 11624 used to use. That said, I really enjoy this lineup, and the Supercourt HX is one of my top 5 paddles right now. I think the lineup is a great option for people who want a bit more firepower from the many Gen 2 all-court style paddles on the market, and plus, the Supercourts releasing in multiple shapes unique to cores is a nice touch as well. One last thing is the price. After a discount code, the Supercourts go for $109, which is a crazy good deal for a Gen 2 paddle with unique molds. If you are interested in picking one of these up, and I highly recommend you do, I've added my discount code here and a link to buy them in the video description below.